Hello. In this instructional video, what I'd like to do is show you how to use Photoshop to create a simple button image for a web page. Before you begin, you have to know exactly what background color your web page is that's going to house or contain the button. Let's assume that your background of your web page is black. The hexadecimal color for black is 000000. So to get started, the first thing you would do, File, New, and set up the size of your web graphic. In this case, I'm going to make it 100 pixels by 30 pixels, 30 pixels high. 72 resolution with RGB color. I generally start out with a white background. Click OK. The next thing I would do is maximize the image, and here is the general size of the button that we are going to create. You can change the size and do something a little different if you want. The key to a successful graphic image like this is to make this image the exact same color as the background of your web page. In this case I used black, so to get the exact color I'll click on the foreground color here and only web colors and simply type in the hexadecimal number. As I told you, it was 000000. And again, this graphic that we're going to create will work for a web page that is has a black background. Next, using the paint bucket tool, I'm going to fill it in that particular color. So far so good. In the Layers palette, let's click the drop down tool here, arrow, and create a new layer. Now change the rectangular marquee tool by holding the left mouse down in your toolbar and change it, flip it with an elliptical marquee tool. Next, what I'm going to ask you to do is carefully draw a small football shape that basically covers the area of the image itself. And now let's fill that in with a different color. I'll change this, and I guess what I'll do is I'll change it to a light gray color. Click OK, and now hit the paint bucket tool and fill in the little the dotted line shape, the oval shape with the gray color. Now to get rid of the selection, you can simply click anywhere. You can say select, deselect, or control D. That'll get rid of it. Now add a new layer. And I always like to add new layers on top of the existing, on top of the uppermost layer that already exists. Later on I can drag these layers on top of each other as I see fit. But anyway, let's just do that. So we're good so far. Now we're in this new layer. Hit the type tool, click the type tool, use whatever font you need. In this case I will go with 18-point font, left align, but for color what I'll do is I'll go with a color that'll show up. In this case I'll go with a blue color. Actually I'll go with a darker blue. Now draw a box over your image and type in whatever the button would be. I'm going to type in the word button. And if you don't like the alignment, and I'm sure you will not, simply hit the move tool and you can drag that layer, the word, right where you need it to be. And you can even use the arrow tools on your keyboard to fine-tune where you want that button to be. Next, what I'm going to do is apply a little filtering to this layer that says button. I'll use layer. While it's highlighted, I'll use layer, layer style, drop shadow. And for now, I would recommend just using the setup that's already there. You can experiment later. Click OK, and there you basically have it. Now to save it for the web, all you have to do, first, File, Save As, save it as a Photoshop file. I'll call it button. Save it in the appropriate folder. And next, when you're done with that, File, Save for Web. And this time, what you'll do is pick whatever style you want. Any GIF or JPEG is what I would recommend. I'll give you a hint. Usually the GIFs work better whenever there's type. GIF seems to make words look a little better. So we'll go with GIF. And as I'm looking here and I look at the size, it's less than 15K. That's very, very important. And save it. And because it is, when you place it on the web as a foreground image, the black background will blend. The black background of the image will blend with the black background of your web page, so it'll look like an oval button. Now, another way to do this, but I don't think this works as well, is to simply say, if you save it as a GIF, you can before you do that, what you can do, and what some web designers will do, is highlight the background layer and poke the eyeball deal, just click the eyeball deal, which will make the background layer invisible. And now, File, Save for Web. And if you choose GIF, you can select transparency and no transparency. And you will be able to save this onto your web page. I find that the graphic has a jagged edge this way. Unless I start really experimenting with some of these other settings. So again, the easiest and most effective way to do this is to create a background image that, to create an image background of the image that is the same color as your web, and then you don't have to worry about that. Simply File, Save for Web. I'll make it a GIF this time, but I don't have to say no transparent, all that kind of stuff. Just leave the settings where they are and save it on the web. Well, that's about it. Simple and very, very effective to create buttons this way.